Hello everyone, and welcome to this short training video which is thinking about how we can make our resources more mobile phone friendly. The reality is plenty of our students will be using a mobile phone to go online to look at resources and to look at work. Part of this will be necessity, where there's no other resource for them to use in the house. The laptop's being used by a parent or another child. Part of it may be preference or choice, that the student actually is able to have some privacy, some time and space away from everyone else in the household to actually look at their work in a quiet and sensible fashion. I think it's important to quickly move away from any sort of thinking that a student who is using a mobile phone to look at their work is just doing so because they're just completely connected to their mobile phone in quite a negative way. I think it could be a really positive thing. So just thinking about making resources more mobile friendly. As ever with my resources, I'm going to be starting with a retrieval quiz. Now, when you look at this one here, this is sort of one I'd normally set in class. There's 9 questions, there's quite a lot of text. It's not the easiest to see in a classroom, if I'm entirely honest, but I'm able to kind of read through it more clearly. Now, because I will be doing some live support with this with students, I would still be able to read through it with them, but not all of them will be there to access that. So what I've done in this case is I've just changed it and tweaked it down and made it much larger, much clearer, 5 questions rather than 9. And therefore I've been a bit more specific and thoughtful about the questions I'm asking, and some of the questions slightly doubled up with a why or an additional thing here, and I'll add an answer section as well, but again it's just a bit more visual and a bit clearer. Similarly, I always like to give students a lesson title. When I'm using literary text, I always use a quotation from the text, and I like to give them an objective and 3 clear outcomes. Now when I put this up on a smart board, again, I think that's absolutely fine. It's nice and clear and helpful for them. But again, if they're looking at it on a mobile phone, it needs to be a bit clearer again. So what I'll be doing in these instances is just reducing it like this. And actually, there's no need for me to write the word objective or the word outcomes. It's quite clear. And again, those students who are with me in the live support session, I can just, extrapolate that and clarify it. But for everyone else, it should be pretty clear. So I'm still able to say my objective, which is here, how Shakespeare introduces Act 4, and my 3 clear outcomes for the students. So again, the whole time I'm thinking about how can I reduce words, reduce language, but still get the same level of clarity. Similarly, this is a nice oracy task that I wanted to do with students about Macbeth's relationship with the witches, and we've got some quotations from Macbeth, and we've got an image of the witches. But again, on a screen, this might be fun. Again, describing it as an oracy task before we read. This is sort of work I get students to discuss together. What do the words reveal about his character? If I want to make this more mobile friendly and more friendly for remote learning, I've made the text bigger here. I've made the image smaller and just over to the right, so I've separated it out so students can zoom in on the quotations more clearly. And I've just changed it to a thinking task. What do Macbeth's words reveal about him? So again, it's something for students to consider and think about. The last thing just for this exercise is to think about when we're setting students questions. So for example, normally in a presentation I would set them a set of questions like this, and actually on a YouTube video or on a PowerPoint presentation this will be quite difficult to see. So what I've done instead is that I've changed the slide to something bigger and visual. Read Act 4 Scene 1, now please open the PDF document Act 4 Scene 1 comprehension questions, and I've specified complete the questions in your exercise books. It's important to remember lots of students won't have printers, lots of students may not have the resource to fill it in as a Word document or an editable PDF and then send it back to you. If you're going to do things like that, then I think using Microsoft Forms or quizzes is going to be really, really helpful because students can fill it in on there online. And I've picked an image of the witches, and then what I've done is there's a PDF, which PDFs read really well on mobile phones, really easy, really clear, and then the student can just have their mobile phone next to their exercise book, scroll through the questions and write the answers in their book. So again, this isn't a perspective of these are the only ways to look at this, but hopefully this is just a helpful bit of guide and a bit of thinking about making our resources more mobile friendly. So thinking carefully about how we use language, how we use images, and again the kind of resources themselves, what is going to be helpful for students to be able to read, work on and then do. I hope everyone's well, look after yourselves, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon. Okay, take care, bye.